Hi, you're welcomed here. Please remember to visit that description area below this video. There you'll find a link to my website where you will discover a wealth of knowledge, enlightenment, and mentoring. Tina Turner. Personally, I feel like Tina Turner, like so many hundreds of thousands, if not millions of people, were primed for abuse by their family of origin. Why I'm claiming this is based on reports that Tina Turner's mother escaped an abusive marriage to her father. Tina Turner was forced to live with her grandmother at a very early age with her sister. She became pregnant at a young age. She was still a teenager. She was abandoned by the father of her child after being kicked out of her mother's home by her own biological mother with her infant child. She went to live with the band leader Ike Turner, who was leader of the band Kings of Rhythm. She went to live with him who and his wife because that's where she had previously lived with her child's father before the child's father abandoned her there in the home. Her life had been very tumultuous by that time. She was experiencing very unstable living conditions, which made her extremely vulnerable and dependent. Tina expressed that she's always felt that her mom didn't love her or accepted her fully. And she said was based on, the fact that her mother had a hard time as a single mother herself raising her daughters. And once she became pregnant with Tina, her mother realized that it would be an even harder time and more of an uphill struggle to raise her and her sister. So she may have, in my opinion, developed, a mother wound which she carried throughout her life. Now, as she was living with Ike and his wife, it appears that the relationship she had with this band leader was platonic, even though she did sometimes sing in his band with him. There were other band members who also lived in the home with Ike and his wife when Tina returned there after being kicked out of her mom's home with the child. Her and Ike's relationship eventually went from platonic to romantic. And this is where the abuse ensued in that relationship. Tina admitted that once the abuse began in her and Ike's relationship, that she felt afraid that he instilled fear in her, and because he became physically abusive to her. And Ike was known to minimize the abuse by making such statements as, he didn't hit her more than the average guy beats his wife. Sure, I've slapped Tina. We had fights, and there have been times when I punched her to the ground without thinking, but I never beat her. So, such minimizing statements kind of was his way of brushing off the weight of his guilt, not showing a remorse, not wanting to take full accountability for the impact, damage, pain, and hurt that he caused. And this is all in light of him, punching her, hitting her in her eyes, blackening her eyes, breaking her nose, breaking her jaw, giving her third-degree burns during their marriage and such, hitting her in the head with a wooden shoe stretcher. It's like the list just goes on. Eventually, Ike brought two of his other children from a previous relationship to live with him and Tina. At that time, Tina had her son from a previous relationship and a son for Ike. So, there apparently was four children in the home. Tina was forced to care for her children with Ike and Ike's children from a previous relationship. Eventually, Tina admitted that she never really felt married to Ike. At the time, Tina had attempted suicide. She was caring for Ike's children. She was enduring Ike's infidelities and cheating during their marriage. She was enduring his volatile behavior, his abuse, and had reportedly taken 50 Valium pills in order to escape the toxic relationship. And like I had mentioned earlier, all the atrocities that occurred within that relationship. She attempted to escape this toxicity multiple times, even times where she had no money of her own and just being completely financially barren. Finally, though, in 1976, Tina Turner filed for divorce from Ike, but the only thing she was left with at the end of all of she endured was 2 cars and her stage name, which was Tina Turner. She was also, by the way, left with the 4 children because, Ike turned over his 2 children to her as he went around and lived his own life. Hence, Tina was burdened with debt from the marriage, from debts they owed in their business, and the 4 children, and her stage name, which was something that helped keep her somewhat afloat, despite the fact that she had to go on food stamps and get government assistance for I think about 2 years, if not more. She was able to perform in small gigs using her name just to sort of bring in some income and sustain herself and her livelihood of her children. Ike received from the divorce their Bullock Sound recording studio, the publishing companies he received 4 cars, he received all the real estate, and a gift worth close to $500,000, and that was back in 1976. But according to Tina, what was most important was her peace of mind. Friends and family of Tina claimed that Ike had a extremely hard time recovering from the divorce from Tina, emotionally, that is, and it has also been claimed by her son that, Ike would try to do his own investigations to find Tina, even though she didn't want him in her life anymore. Eventually, Ike died from a cocaine overdose. At this time, Tina had been in no contact with Ike for more than 30 years, and she didn't want to make any comment regarding his death. Tina went on to live her best life. Eventually, she married a friend who became a romantic partner. They dated for a couple of decades before they actually tied the knot legally, became married in Switzerland. He was, I think, about 16 years her junior. Eventually legally adopted Ike's 2 children, and her first child's father was actually found dead of an apparent suicide. I think it was a gunshot to the head in 2018, summer 2018. But Tina went on to live a life with someone she loved. In Tina Turner's memoir in 2018 called Tina Turner, My Love Story, she had talked about how she suffered life-threatening illness in 2013, which was about 3 weeks after her wedding to her husband, Erwin Bach, by the way. She had suffered a stroke and she was diagnosed with intestinal cancer. Because of homeopathic remedies that she had preferred over traditional cancer treatments, she had suffered damage to her kidneys, which her husband eventually donated his kidney for her. Tina says she considers herself a Buddhist now, and she's actually practicing Nichiren Buddhism. In 2005, she actually collaborated with Tibetan Buddhists on an album and actually met with the 14th Dalai Lama. Her spiritual music project is called Beyond. So here we see that, Tina was able to escape abuse and she was able to stay away from her abuser after multiple attempts, after, almost taking her life. But she was able to pull herself up by her bootstraps, get back on the horse, meet the love of her life. Obviously, she had a very big heart. She adopted the children of her abuser and continues to inspire others with her music of the past and of the present. I think her story is very triumphant. There's so many lessons we can get from her story. I just kind of broke it down into minutes here, but you can also go and read up more on her story and also be motivated as I was. That's all I wanted to share with you. I'll talk to you guys soon. Don't forget, like, share, leave your insightful comments, and subscribe. Till next time, bye-bye.